Hello and welcome, pool fans, to the 2015 U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship 40th Annual Edition. Here with the call is Billy Gibbs. My name is Mark Wilson, and today we have a tremendous matchup. Scott Frost against the man that only needs one name, Earl the Pearl Strickland. And Billy, what does Scott Frost need to do to win this match?
Got to break well. He's got to break well and follow it up and, pretty much play error-free pool, which I think both of them are capable of doing right now. Scott's playing real well. And as I mentioned to you just before the match, Earl wants to win 6. And he's got Copenhagen out here, Shane Van Boning, who's won the last 3 in a row. He's going to want to win today because this is going to be whether his idea, his dream continues or not to win 6. And it ought to be a great match, Mark.
Could you talk a little bit about today's rules for the break? That's a little bit different this year, maybe.
Well, they're racking the 9-ball on the spot, and they're breaking from a little smaller box. So that's, 2 of the things that affect, ball placing. And it seems like I've broken on this rack. It's really, really good. It's called the Accu-Rack, and it works a lot better. The balls don't slide across it, so it's going to be very fair for both players.
Strickland won the leg, broke dry. We get our first look at Scott Frost. He's been working very hard in his 9-ball game. He's regarded as one of the premier one-pocket players in the United States. And I love his countenance, the facial expression. I can see he's come to play. I've known him since he's a boy. And it's not about antics, it's not about showmanship. He's here to win a pool match.
Well, and that's certainly what he needs to do here. This is a tough match for a first-round match, but with the field we've got, like you were mentioning earlier to me before the match, there aren't going to be any easy ones.
These are the type of safety exchanges that he's going to have to do well from, because this time he let Earl see the 1 ball, which gives Earl the upper hand in the distribution of the balls. He's going to have a great chance to influence the outcome of this opening rack.
I think he'd like to come down table with the cue ball, but I'm not sure he can see that side of it. He may have to come over behind the 2 a little bit or over that direction. Send the 1 back across table.
Yeah, no way was I being critical. It's from the long range, but that's what you're going to start with great players, so you might as well start practicing these long-range circumstances. Earl's going to try to tuck the cue ball away somewhere where Scott's denied direct access to the 1.
Well, he could go rail first at this 1 and get the cue coming back towards the 9 in that direction. He could see enough of it to go down table, so that was all right.
Well, Scott's going to be back kind of almost where he started from.
I think he's going to have, this is a little ugly because he might go into the 9 if he tries to go across it. So he's going to have to send the 1 towards the 2 probably. Bring the cue ball back up behind the 8 and do a better job than he did last time. Maybe not, but.
He looked over at the other pocket like he's going to play the 9 here and try to 2-cushion the cue ball around back down table, using the 9 ball to stop the 1. Combination. Got a little bit thin. Scott's kind of hoped for the 7 to get in the way, and it didn't. This is a race to 11 games.
Now we'll find out how tough Earl is right now, because if he makes this 1 and stays on the 2 in any way, shape, or form, this rack could open up very easily. I like the position of the balls from the 5 to the 6 lays pretty natural once the 3's out of the way. 4 to the 5 might be the toughest shot outside of this one.
He's jacked up like he's going to spike the cue ball into the 2 to dislodge it.
And that's just what he did.
Great shot.
Needs a little more gas.
Classic Earl Strickland there. He hits a great ball, but he's not blessed with much of a shot here. The crowd always knows what he's thinking, what he's feeling. He's kind of smiling. He knows he hit a tremendously good shot there, and anything could have happened. One thing we mentioned in the pre-match conversation was that Scott Frost cannot engage Earl Strickland in commentary during the match. Scott needs to stay in focus and do what he does.
Well, one of the things you just saw right there, Earl's talking to the crowd. I've never known a time that Earl didn't talk to the crowd. And I'm not sure it's an antic. He's just frustrated, like you said, with what he got for a roll. And that'll cost him right there. Trying to spin that in and scratch, so.
Scott a little bit hasty. Bit down, two-stroked. I don't know. He was dissatisfied with the whole thing. And it was, to me, that's an unforced error. You could have tried to play a safety or something. You can't just let the cue ball just go crazy on a low percentage shot. Because
well, back cutting that two ball, too, spinning it off the rail first like that, you're guaranteed to come into the corner pocket with the cue ball almost.
Yeah, it's super slick. Frost, looking at the arrangement of balls, is considering playing the 9-ball here, combination-wise. That would be getting off to a great start here.
Well, there's nothing wrong with this. This is not an easy out because of the ease of the combinations, what I started to say.
Well, game one goes to Scott Frost, who leads the match 1-0. We'll get our first chance to look at his break.
Well, just from my observations and having broken with this circumstance, the softer break works better. When you try to blast the balls on this rack, you're not going to get real good results, especially with the angle you're coming at with that smaller break box. So a cut break on this rack works real well. So when they start cut breaking, coming over the side rail and back out, now you still can miss this. It's not like the magic rack where you're kind of guaranteed to make a ball. But if you cut break and you get good speed and good aim, you'll make a ball. It's accurate that way. But the smash break is not really, in my opinion, the way to go.
Brand new cloth, diamond tables. Beautiful setup to contest this 40th annual U.S. Open Championship.
Earl's standing right in front of the boom there. Now, when Scott moves, Earl's going to see if the balls are lined up straight. I guarantee you that's what he's going to look at.
Yes, he is. 1-0, Scott Frost preparing to break. He goes to the same corner of the box that Earl Strickland broke from to begin with.
Which way?
That's all right. Go ahead. Let's see what happens.
Earl's saying the rack is slightly
Crooked.
crooked.
Put them on the spot right here.
They oftentimes have marks on the table.
Now, when you talk about antics, this might fall into the category of antics as far as I'm concerned. You know?
Yeah.
Because those balls rack up perfectly tight on this rack. That's why they're using it. And however much that was off, it sure wasn't noticeably off. You know,
I think Scott agreed. It was slightly twisted, and when you break them, it does get dislodged. So, but yeah, if it persists, then that certainly would dissolve into being antics. Got some great opening round matches. Karen Kors playing Copigny. That's the number 1 seed in this event, despite the fact that Shane Van Boning's won it 3 consecutive times.
What a statement that is.
Earl is now more satisfied that the rack is straight. Yeah, I just love the way Scott's looking today. I've known him for a lot of years. I can just feel it when he's in his good frame of mind, you know, and today it looks like he has that. Cut break, kissed out of the scratch.
Hit a little hard, though.
He got here an extra day or two early to practice, and I really, I can tell that he's very serious about this.
Nice little touch there. Earl parking the cue ball behind the 7. Scott's got a pretty good kick here if he wants to shoot it, and at the angle he'll be coming at, he might be able to get on that 2 ball.
9 ball still resides right where it was racked. Scott figures to hit this ball, but coming out of it defensively is going to be tough. So now he's opting to go this direction, which makes the hit just a little bit tougher, but there's a lot more scoring possibilities with it. And score he did. Kicked it, made the combination on the 3. He has one ball that goes in the side. It's not an easy transfer to the 2, however. He's got some work in front of him.
Well, he can draw deep into the corner here and just have a little bit inside in it, and it'll come pretty much straight down between the 4 and the 9. So he's got the ability to get there, even with the angle he's got. Very slight like that, but I think he's got a legitimate possibility of getting that ball on the 2. And if he does, look at the rack mark. I mean, it's wide open.
He's looking at just getting the cue ball to the center and cutting the 2 ball in. Your way will work as well, but I think he wants to make. Well, he's drawing. No, he's undecided. This is one of those iffy judgment calls here.
Yeah, this is kind of like a, throwing a slider. You got to get a little bit of spin, and you got to have a good speed feel. There it is. See if he gets there. Come on.
Might have to go rail first.
Well, he didn't come quite deep enough, but it looks like he's going to be there.
Is it rail first, though?
It could be. I can't see the booms in front of me on the 2 ball there.
It's hard to tell if he's. I don't think he's got the edge of the ball. I think he's just going to play this rail first. The cue ball will then flip the 5.
Rail first it is.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt on that. He's left it long and tough. Now Strickland comes to the table with this distasteful circumstance. He wastes no time. Oh, no. He's going to recalculate here. 40-second shot clock in effect. Historically not a problem for Earl Strickland. Good shot there.
Underneath
Given
the 5,
distance.
maybe. No.
Well, given the distance, that's about the best Frost can hit the 2, but
He ain't going cross-side with it. I know that.
now will Scott just super thin the 2 and bring the cue ball back to the other side, the same side of the table the cue ball's on now?
Or come up behind, yeah.
Boy, that's a good shot. That is a good shot. Earl's going to have to go to the end rail now.
How about that? And he's on the 4, too. Look at this. With shape to get on the 5. Well, we'll find out how his execution is now, Mark. Nicely done there. A little straight, maybe, but that works with the 6 where it is. You know, that kick of Earl's was just as fortunate probably as Scott making that 3 ball on the side.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so turnabout's fair play. And, he made an absolute error with that 2 ball on the last rack, Earl did. But I think we'll see him get out here.
There's no way to play this pool. I play better when I'm by myself.
Come to the side rail, back out. Got a perfect angle for the 8.
Sometimes Earl relaxes himself by making comments to the audience that really he doesn't actually even mean, but it's just the way that he relaxes. It's
Right.
a peculiar thing, and a lot of people take personal offense to it.
Well, he's always done that. I've never known a time that Earl didn't talk to the audience.
He drags the cue ball down below the side pocket, and he's in perfect condition to tie the match up at 1 game apiece. Now we can definitely tell Earl's in good form. Got his talking game and his playing game all operating at peak efficiency right now.
Right. You know, one thing that you kind of put to rest, when you've been around pool as long as you and I have, but certainly Earl is older. And, his depth of going in with full concentration, deep into the week, that seems to be the place that it shows up most. And I think the bubbling over point that, so many people notice with him now. How many athletes do you know that are still competing in a professional sport at the top of their game? I mean, the top of the world, the best players in the world at over 50 years old? Who else do you know?
Right.
Nolan Ryan retired at, 46 or 44, one or the other. And Noli was probably, the most longevity fastball player that I can think of.
Yeah, there was a couple knuckleballers that stayed up there.
But fastball, though, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Using the arm like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's so hard to do. And, he had good control in the end when he came out as a rookie. He was wild with the Mets. But, once he settled down, premier pitcher, went to 46. This guy's, 52 now?
Right.
I mean, that's saying something. And he's still fit as it can be. I mean, you were mentioning earlier, runs every day, plays.
Oh, yeah. The good thing about pool is that you peak in later years, so you do have a longer peak span than you would in other sports that are a bit more athletic.
Right. I notice your concentration starts to go in your mid-40s, though. It's not the same as it was when you were 20, for sure.
Talk about Nolan Ryan. He was wild when he broke in, but he was a member of the starting pitching staff of the 1969 Mets.
The amazing Mets.
And they were so strong that Nolan Ryan was not a starter in the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Seaver was on that team, too. Don't ever forget that. Tom, terrific.
Nolan Ryan blazed a fastball in the corner. The umpire called it a strike, and the batter questioned it, and the umpire said, well, it sounded like a strike.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
sizzled in there.
Well, you're a baseball guy, so you know what that ball sounds like in the mitt when you throw in the 90s. I know you know that sound.
All right, game number 3 just about to get underway. Strickland breaking. Go to the same side of the table that both players have used so far. I don't know if you call that the right or left side of the table. It's the left as we face it, and the right as they do. One ball found the side pocket. Here comes the 2. Does Earl get a shot? Yeah, I think he has a shot. Not an easy shot, tough shot, but just the kind of shot that Earl Strickland is known for.
And he can get around the balls pretty nicely, too. So if he back cuts this in the upper right-hand corner pocket as we look at the table, he should be able to come underneath the 6 and the 7 and have a good shot on the 3.
Oh, he hit that nice.
Straight across the table.
Good tempo. Didn't overdo it.
Might be shooting over top the 6 a little bit here, though.
Yeah, at the very least, he'll be slightly impeded.
No, he's okay.
4 right over the side, too, or in the corner. He's got it in the side. 9 ball still sitting in the spot where it was racked from. So,
testimony to how well the rack works. That's one of the things Joe Tucker pointed out to me a few years back. If you've got a good rack and 9 ball, the 9 ball should not move. All the balls around it will, and it never happens when you rack the balls with a triangle. And Joe's a big proponent of this rack as well. Nicely executed so far. Look at this. It's like an exhibition in angle and speed.
yeah, the first shot was really the big one.
Yes, sir. How about this one, Mark?
Yeah, 2 stop shots. That's a well-designed pattern when you have 2 stop shots at the end of the rack. He was able to slide it over. He had a little more angle than we thought, but a very routine 9 ball for the first break and run out of the match by Earl Strickland. He leads the match 2-1.
Well, Scott might have to fade this for a little while, I'm afraid. We'll see how Ert does in this break. He broke the last one's a little bit firmer, but still a cut break. We'll see if he lightens up on his speed maybe a little bit. He might be able to gain a little more control of the cue ball. Just hitting it a little bit easier and still making the ball.
Yeah, made the 1 ball on the side. That was really the wing ball has thus far not gone in.
Well, with the 9 ball on the spot, I think the one ball on the side is going to be the, pocketable ball because you're closer to the side with that. And maybe you do want to hit a little harder, you know what I mean, and smash it down for the angle. You might be onto something there. A little high.
Looks like it's going to be a dry break here. Scott Frost will have a defensive play in front of him.
What about the carom? You think he can make that off the back of the ball?
No.
From the angle he's coming at, he's pretty close. Can almost do it with follow, I think.
Yeah, it's not hanging. Take a heck of a shot. I think it's way too risky.
Well, let's see what he does. He banks it and just comes around it maybe then.
That was well designed. Had a lot of blockers in the way, well executed. That kind of plays into Frost's talent level of defensive style. Skills garnered from one pocket. He was able to protect the one. That's going to be a hard ball to hit. Where he left it, he's got the cue ball on the rail. Don't know if Earl can get around the clutter here to kick it 2 cushions or not.
I don't like 2 cushions.
No, you don't like 2 cushions.
I don't think he's got 2 cushions is what I'm saying. If he massays it like he's jacked up to do, he might. Nicely done. But he's left Scott an out.
Interesting match so far. A little bit slow getting started. Both players playing well.
Oddly enough, he got too deep on that one ball there. He almost made it. Had he been a little thinner, he would have. So he turned the ball a little bit more coming off that rail. Nice bump there. Enough to slide underneath the 3, I think, though. Shoot the 3 in the upper right-hand corner pocket. Got him a little angle. Don't really need much, though. The 4 is pretty much in line. The 5 and the 6 are laying there nice. Same as the 7 and the 8. So pocket this one and get out in the middle of the table.
Scott Frost has his grip hand further back on the cue now. He's been working on his fundamentals, I'm aware of. One pocket to get you a little short. He's lengthened it out here a bit.
Nicely executed there. He might get a little straighter than he like, but it's not a big deal. He can draw back if he wants a little more angle. I think he's good either way if he just slides across the table and shoots at 6 and comes 2 rails towards the 7. Now 1 rail right up and down the table. It's just those little inches on the angle that make all that difference. And when a guy's playing solid like this, the economy of ball movement is pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, important. Limit the travel, then you limit your exposure to risk.
Nicely done. And great angle to get back on the 8. 9 ball's hanging a little funny if he wants to come 2 rails at it. I don't think he needs to.
Oh, no, I think he is going 2 rails. He might go around the 9. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Nicely, too.
Good speed, perfect direction. Oh, this is a nice rack here. They were open and they were prepared, but a lot of times you can fail that. Scott stayed in line pretty darn good this rack.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I think it was a good call on your part with the concentration on his face thing, because it's absolutely showing up here.
9 balls in. Scott Frost ties the match at 2 games apiece and will be breaking.
What was the first time you saw Scott, just out of curiosity? How old was he? 13, 14?
Probably, maybe a little bit older than that, but not much. And hot-headed, fast player, cocky.
Right.
Even then, wants to bet as high as you can.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He was not afraid to lose all his money and did so many, many, many times.
I mean, did you know the guys he would play? I mean, would he play somebody like you? Because you were at the top of your game at that point.
Yes, he would. Yeah, he would. He trained routinely with Don McCoy, and he would come through town, and he would play everybody there, and he shied away from no one, backed down never. I mean,
That's interesting.
He would get upset though. He would kind of go off the air and lose all his money after he get aggravated, you know. But in the big picture today, here he is playing at the top of the world in pool. I do respect him and admire him, especially the change of pace here. He always emphasized one pocket all his life. Now, in the last year, he's emphasized 9-ball.
Well, he's always been a good 9-ball player, though. I mean, you know.
Yeah, pretty good, but that was not his number one game. He's
not
tried
the world-class level
Yeah.
in certain ways. I understand.
But he's looking at now, you know. So.
Well,
Cut break.
Somebody mentioned to me that Scott had ambitions for the Moscone Cup. You know, not that that wasn't, directed at you, but I'm just saying I heard that. And I was like, well, perfect candidate, you know what I mean? If he's playing good 9-ball, you know what I mean? America's not exactly, ripe with great young players now, or great old players even, Just a few compared to what's going on in Europe. But
right, he publicly pledged to make this year's Moscone Cup and has worked hard to that extent. So pushing out here. Yeah, he's showing a lot of confidence, a lot of positivity, and sometimes those are not hallmarks of Scott Frost, but he's in it to win it here. I can see he's very serious about this.
Earl's going to play this ball, play it safe, rail first, come up behind him.
Boy, what a nice shot that was.
Yes, it was.
Knowledgeable audience accepts it. Scott Frost taps the table, recognizing what a nice kick that was with speed, all by design.
Yeah, he had a little bit of right-hand English on the ball when he hit that. So it turned into the ball if he hit it full enough, which he did, and was able to get the 2-ball around the 4 and the 8.
This is an interesting circumstance. I think Scott's got to go low right and power into the 2, which means he's going to be up to the pool gods. The outcome. I don't think he can go 2 cushions at this one. No, he can. Oh, 1 cushion. Boy, I didn't think he'd go soft speed, so that was a great decision and good execution. Left Earl along. Earl does have a pocketable 2-ball, however.
Well, another thing that happened there, not that this is the end of the world, but he bumped the 7 over the rail too, And that could have been a little tricky had the 9-ball been a little deeper. But under the circumstances with the 6 hanging right there by the side, it won't matter too much, I don't think. Earl's just got to pocket the 2 and come back down table for the 3.
Powerful shot maker is Earl Strickland. He made it with inside spin. Speed might be just a little short.
Yeah, this is tricky.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a safety, isn't it? Just don't see how he can possibly get out from here.
I like playing safe. Now, this is dangerous, Mark. I think he's left, Scott with a very makeable 3-ball, Cross-side with the cue ball. And he could pocket that. The bad news is he could also wind up behind the 6 if he does do that, because he needs to stay on that side of the table to hit the 4. So this has got some adversarial things should he even make the ball. Hit it hard enough that he got away from it. And he had inside spin on it. Look at that cue ball turn. So he stayed in line to where he can at least hit the 4. He didn't get hooked on the 8, which was a big deal if he played it hard.
Well, this will be a test of Scott's one-pocket talent, and now this is a super hard safety. After this shot, if Scott gets himself back to the table one time in this rack, he did a great job on this shot.
He's just going to send it forward to the middle of the table, I think, up on the other end of the table and the cue ball down there. But he didn't execute real well.
Well, that's how hard it was. That was super tough.
I think he wanted to err on the side of hitting it harder, though. You know what I mean? Cue ball comes more towards this corner.
Good shot there, Earl Strickland.
Great shot,
Look
yeah.
easy.
And it'll look pretty routine from here. Come off the rail if he wants to, or just come right back out, either way. Fairly easy to get on the 8 here. use the rail to kill speed. Look at this. Perfect. Fun to watch Earl execute like this.
Yeah, he doesn't take much time. That big, confident, flowing stroke. Follow down, let the cue ball come up by the side pocket. He's going to ease the 9-ball in now. Ooh, did a little wide. Fluttered it home. Strickland 3, Frost 2.
Yeah, that was a little touchy there, man. He overcut it just a hair. You know, it's kind of a funny thing, but one of the things I've picked up over the years with Earl is, you know, usually when he's got a ball, he's cutting down the rail, especially early in a match. He'll walk over and look and see the table alignment and look at the rail so that he doesn't overcut it like that. And he did not do that on that shot. You know, he just went ahead and stood up and shot it.
Yeah, he's got a fast tempo, and sometimes he can be a bit careless. But, certainly works for him, and you can see how good he's pocketing balls on all the other shots. He's just hitting the heart of the pocket with each and every one of them, and that's someone that's dedicated a lifetime to preparing their game. Strickland opts to go to the other side of the table now for the break.
See if it cuts a little speed off.
3 balls on the wing.
A little bit slower.
1 ball went past the side pocket. 6 ball, nope. Try break. Earl's dissatisfied. 2 and the 4 and the 5 all along the rail there. It'd be hard for Scott to work the cue ball close enough to the 2 to do a lot of damage, it appears.
I think he can follow down, though. I think he can shoot the 1 in the corner and follow down, and he may come off the rail right just barely below the 2. He might even be able to bump it. If he did, you know, he might get another possibility of shooting the 2 on the side. I don't know. See if he goes that way.
Make sure you make the ball here, Scott. No matter what you get for position, that's one of those iffy ones that you can.
And there's the, oh, he missed it. Wanted to hit it. And I don't know. He might be able to make this 2 off the 6 mark.
Yeah, it goes in off the 6, and that's what he's looking at right now. But this not a liberal margin of error. You got to hit it pretty pure.
You need to hit this with a little pace, too, because the cue ball needs to get down for the 3.
Well, these tables are so fast, I don't think he has to use a whole lot of speed, but he needs a lot of accuracy on this one.
Well, he hit it with the pace, but he didn't get the accuracy. But he did hide Earl a little bit. Let's see if Earl goes airborne. Oh, yeah. How about this? Earl with a jump cue.
Well, you have to use it. I mean, if that's Earl's never been an advocate of the jump cue, but in this case, if everybody else is allowed, you have to be able to wield it yourself.
Well, he certainly can wield it, but he's always been so anti-short stick. And he missed.
And the cue ball landed right on the rack, so I don't know. They're going to call somebody out to move the rack, I think, so Scott doesn't have to play off of that.
Yeah. Scott Smith will be in a minute, I'm sure. Or Jay Helfert 1.
Well, this will be interesting. He could go after the bank. It's got some safety implications if he wants to. He could also play
that's
safe.
a good call. Yeah, I don't have any problem with the, cross corner here at all. And just go up table with the cue.
That's all right. We'll just.
Do it with the jump.
I don't know what they're doing. They didn't tell
Look,
us.
here.
Somebody
Yep.
coming or what?
Yep, they're just waiting now. Well, Earl has volunteered to put it there. And it's not that critical of a spot. So
And
they both
Scott and Earl
agreed.
did it together. You're right.
All right. Here we go. Now, if Frost feels like he has a lockdown safety, he could play it. If he wants to play offense, he can bank at the 2 and maybe get a backdoor safety. Just, you hate to hang the 2. Oh, I like this.
Well, here's a question for you, Mark.
He didn't execute it perfect.
Yeah, he missed the 6 ball a little bit, maybe. But what do you like for the 4 ball? I mean, even if you were to make that 2 and get up table for the 3, where are you coming for the 4? What do you think?
I think they're going to play a combination because both of them are away from the rail and the pocket plays pretty big if you can get on it reasonably well.
Yeah, it's tough if you try to shoot it in the other corner because you really got no place with the 5 there. What a nice shot that was.
Yeah, it really was. I'll tell you, Scott's decision to play safe, okay, but you cannot allow, if you're going to play safe, you can't lose from that safe. And to me, that's kind of an unforced error, maybe. He meant well, but he needed to make sure he was getting safe.
Now, Earl did the one thing he needed to do if you were going to play the combination. You got the cue ball near the rail. So he's back cutting that just a little bit on the 5.
Oh, let the cue ball get away here.
He did. But I think he's got a nice shot to the side pocket.
I think
he's
it's
not.
blocked. No, I think it's blocked.
Yeah, he can't get past the 7, it looks like. Well, that's his own fault, you know? He's really blocked. He can shoot this into the rail and just come up and lay on the 7. He took the safety, put the balls in between it the other way.
Scott may go with his jump cue now. Yep.
I don't know that I like jumping this to try to make it. I think I like jumping this to play safe, maybe. And oddly enough, going rail first at this, the kick kind of lays well for shooting the 4 towards the side pocket and bringing the cue over to the rail. So I'm not sure the jump cue is the best thing to use, unless he does pocket the ball. Got to keep it on the table. Done that. But didn't get it rewarded at all. And the 4's laying nice for Earl to come straight down table. No sweat here. Make the 4, get on the 6, and see you later. Bye. Nicely done.
Table's mic'd up. You can hear the tone of the cue when it hits the ball. I like that part of it.
I wish my hearing was that good.
I like to hear the cue. It kind of gives you an idea how they either are squeezing and then you get a thud sound, or if you hear the tong sound, that's usually someone that's confident and not squeezing the cue at impact.
Nicely played there. Played it for the corner. So all he has to do is hit and stop for the 9 on the side.
One ball away from claiming a 4-2 lead. Earl wasting no time. Puts the 9 ball away.
Well, that was a little rough for Scott there. I mean, he was trying to do something, but,
Yep.
you know, playing the safe was the way to go there, I think. I don't really think that, you know, trying to pocket that ball.
Well, the rack was decided when Scott did not get the good safety, when he had the chance to play the bank safety. If there's a chance you're going to sell out on the safety, then you have to play the bank shot because you can win with it. If you hang up the 2, you hang up the 2. If you play the safety, that's fine, but you have to make sure that he has to kick at the ball. Otherwise, it was an ill-designed thought because you lost the game, but you didn't have a chance to win the game.
Right.
So, yeah. And any kind of direct access to an object ball for Earl Strickland is going to result in a good result for him about 98% of the time. So rare you can count on him making an unforced error with an open layout.
Earl looks winding up like he's going to hit him hard again. And that hard he did. And he
Good
got the same
try.
result.
A lot of clutter here. Scott doesn't have to play offense if he doesn't want to.
I like coming up behind the 2.
This he can't do. No, you can't do that. If you're going to play safe, once again, you just cannot let him have direct access, or else the safety's no good. So you have to work harder on those.
Well, I mean, it's like he jumped up with the first thought he had. He didn't even look at coming up behind the 2 with the cue ball. Sent the cue ball down table, caught the pit point up there on the side, you know, and
I think Earl can just draw the cue ball over here to the 4 if he wants to. I don't think that's what he's doing. Maybe he's following the end rail up to the 4, yeah. That's going to be a great shot. Yeah, that's lethal.
no jump cue there. No jump cue
No,
here.
that's why, Scott's safety has just got to be tighter than that. You cannot play. If you're playing bad players, you get away with some of that stuff and it doesn't hurt you, but you can't let these good players have direct access to the object ball. That's too loose.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
This could be an awkward kick here. You going 3 cushions? 2 cushions. Yeah. Nice shot there. Good shot. Okay.
Gonna leave him hooked, too.
Yeah, that's the old backdoor safety. You don't know it's getting safe, but about 20% of the time they do arrange themselves.
You know, the
Such a
cue ball
fashion.
length. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
Well,
it's
the
such-
cue ball lengthens out coming off this side reel, so Earl's got a pretty natural angle to hit the 1. Where he leaves the cue is another story. I think he's left him a shot this time. Bump the 2 over there, too, which helps out. Now, Scott can pocket this ball and go 2 rails to the 2, either side. Either the lower left-hand or lower right-hand corner pocket, either way, and go 2 rails to the cue ball. He's going to have that 3 in the side, and it comes right up for the 4.
Well, Scott needs to make this hurt right here. This shot go a long ways towards helping him win this match. Good job.
That
opened
worked out
everything
nice.
up. Yeah, everything.
Just has to slide up to the side pocket, shoot the 3 in the side, and the 4s land right there. Unbelievable.
That's
He's trying to hold the cue ball by a little heavier hit on the 2. That's the only reason he missed it. It's not that he couldn't make the ball, but he was trying to manipulate the cue ball. Now, this is an awkward shot, too, when it's this deep into the corner pocket. On the diamond table, those points come into play, and it's treacherous to play position. Well, Strickland made it look easy. It wasn't maybe as bad as I thought it might be.
I think it was as bad as you thought it might be. He made it look easy because he knew what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, I think you might be right about that. Already in the Billiards Hall of Fame, 5 World Championships, 5 U.S. Opens.
Nicely done there.
Gonna make the 9 here.
Yes, sir.
It counts, right? We don't know that.
I was asking if that counts.
Well, there have been a lot of tournaments lately where you have to call your shot.
I didn't think it counted.
And he was playing the 3. That was a legitimate shot. But, if nothing else, he wanted to stop on the 9 there, his position for the 4.
No, he played it perfect, yeah. And
So,
even when you play call shot, if you make the ball that you call, the other one counts. So
Right.
Straight pull or be a rare occasion that it wouldn't.
well, I don't think Earl was being facetious when he was looking at the
No.
audience and said that counts. I mean, he was seriously wondering, that
He
counts,
didn't want
right?
to just rack up the balls and have somebody say that's a foul. So Strickland now moves out of the 5-2 lead.
Let's see if he sticks with his power. It may dawn on him that a softer break cut shot might be a way to go. Let's see. I don't think he likes that by nature.
Now he's backing out the back rail.
He's coming a little slower at the ball. A little slower break and 1 ball for the side pocket, but he's scratching the cue.
Okay. Frost comes to the table with a nice open layout, ball in hand.
And the speed made all the difference there. The balls aren't cluttered, they're apart.
Well, he had a lot of draw on the cue ball, too. That took some of the speed out of what impacted the rack. Scott Frost, originally from Des Moines, Iowa, now lives in Phoenix, Arizona.
Nicely executed. Nice bridging distance.
Starting to reach the midpoint of the match. Both players starting to loosen up a little bit, I think. Good shot there, Frosty. Perfect line. Nice top shot. Wants to get the cue ball out away from the rail. Yeah, kind of where he put his tip, but that would make it really play nice. 4-ball allows that to happen pretty freely.
Shots like these being left-handed, you know what I mean? Like what's ideal for him wouldn't necessarily be the same thing you want to shoot if you're right-handed. But he's a big guy too, like you. You know, you don't have to worry about getting table hooked on himself. Nicely done there.
Yeah. He's played a good pattern. He has not been out of line one time this rack so far, and that minimizes cue ball travel, which aids consistency.
Very nicely done there.
Yeah, perfect angle. Now get whatever he wants on the 8. Double checks it. Looks like he's going to opt for the 2-cushion route. The 9 from the 8. No, he went down. Now he may have to draw. That's acceptable as well. This will just be draw to the side rail and let the cue ball come out a foot. Works the cue ball a little closer. He wouldn't have minded. I think he could have gone without the side spin. I think he should just use straight draw. There's no reason to try to get it any closer and then include the opportunity to miss hit the object ball. And 9 balls in. Scott Frost a nice rack. He picks up his 3rd win, trails in the match 5-3.
I just got a kick out of that body English, that little hop, that bunny hop.
He didn't want that cue ball to lodge on the rail for sure.
Well, look what we got on the screen, Mark. We got some tournament performance average shots, stats.
Yeah, the big figure here is 35 balls pocketed to 25 balls pocketed. That's in most all these matches. Just look at the total balls pocketed, and it will tell you who won the match about 95% of the time.
Well, the errors are kind of interesting as well. 7 on Scott and 6 on Earl.
Yeah, this has not been a stellar performance so far. 850 kind of the benchmark at pro level, 900 world class, above 900 all universe. Yeah, there's been a couple of defensive errors by Scott, where he tried to play safe and Earl was able to pocket the ball. That's an error, and Scott's got to tighten that up now. Like to generate some offense from the break.
See what kind of power Scott comes with here. He's cutting the balls. Made the 1 on the side.
2 in the corner.
Yeah.
Kissed up. I don't think he's going to get a shot on the 3. Made the 1 and the 2, though.
Did get hooked on the 3 pretty good.
Did
on
he?
The 6, yeah.
Okay. That's the problem. You make a couple balls on the hook, it's harder to push out because there's not much clutter. It's hard to defend yourself. You can't push out to a direct access, even though it's not an offensive shot, because Earl can play safe as good as you can.
The jump cue ain't a bad idea right here. I mean, you hate to do that when you've got a push, but I mean, where are you going to push Earl that it's going to be something you're going to get back or you want to leave?
Not likely to use the jump cue here because it doesn't have a reward. Even if you made it, you're going to run into the 7 or clutter. So if you're going to play offense, you definitely want to be able to win with a shot. You don't want to have to play a tremendous offensive shot to get to a safety. If I was Frost, I would try to put the 6 over by the 7 and tie that up right now.
I like that.
I would just, he's going to go
pocket
forward.
The 5, yeah.
I don't even know if he's going to pocket it. Yeah, he's trying to put the 5 underneath the 8. That's not a bad idea either. Now he's tempting Earl. Do you want to play offense here and fire away at the bank?
I think he'll play safe here. Bring the cue ball over behind the 5 and shoot the 3 ball up towards the 7 maybe.
Good call there, Billy. You were right. Earl executed it perfectly.
No kidding.
That's a nice shot. Yeah, world-class pool.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, you can imagine putting the ball on the back of the 5 like that, but getting there's a whole nother story. Earl did that beautifully.
Scott's facing a 2-cushion kick here for his life in this rack. Hit it. Made it.
Beautiful. Look at this, too.
Got a
Little
little-
kick off the 9.
Little bump. Nicely executed.
Pocket the 4 here. You're going to come right in line with a 5.
Mathematically, you can make balls. You can even get safe from there. But Earl had the upper hand in the distribution of the balls because he had him pinned to the 5 ball, forcing him to kick, like I said, for his life.
Well, I mean, one thing's for sure. That was excellent play by both players.
Yeah.
Overcut. Oh, that's right on the money.
How's his speed? Good. Okay.
I thought he got a little bit too much energy on that ball, but by golly, he was right. That's perfect.
You know, may have to go to the bridge. Something I always admired about Earl is his genuine passion for the sport and his belief that this is a sport and should be treated as such. And sometimes he expresses it in such a way that it offends people, but he means well with that because he is sincere. He's got this shot you have to make then if you're going to shoot it that way.
Well, let me ask you this just on a personal level, Mark. Have you ever, in your experience, because you are a sports guy, you're a baseball guy, have you ever thought of this not as a sport? You personally? I never did. I always thought it was a sport. I never thought it was a game.
Right. It has to do with your approach. And if you come at it with an athletic mindset that you're going to train and train physically and mentally and work on your technique, the mechanics, that's the sport of pool. The game of pool is something that you do while you smoke a pack of cigarettes and eat 2 chili dogs and drink some beer. That's the game of pool. Unfortunately, we get painted with that brush all the time, and that's to reinforce the stereotype.
Because of that tough leave, he decided to play safe.
That's a pretty good shot, too, from where he was at. He had to move that 6 ball a long way, and looks like he may have hooked Earl. If he did, that would be a tremendous shot from where he was. Now, Earl's going to have to kick at this. Earl's looking at kicking it in the side, 2 cushions, and try to maybe get a long distance or safe or defensive play.
He may be able to come up behind the 9 cooking this 2 cushions, too, with a cue ball. Nope, just the opposite, 6 behind the 9.
That's going to be a good return.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, very nice. Earl Strickland. He left it in the same arrangement that Scott did. Well, Scott may have to kick off the end rail this time. Scott's looking at trying to thin this. He's got the right portion of the ball. He might only be able to hit enough of this that he has to make the ball if he hits it. No, he didn't have to make it. Did he scratch?
This is the part right here.
That would be, ugly. Boom. And a couple volleys there of kick safeties that worked out, and Strickland now has the upper hand. An interesting rack.
This is what world-class pool is supposed to look like, though, right? This is great stuff. Even if the scores are low, I think the table and the circumstances might attribute to that on the TPA being a little bit on the low side. This was a great rack right here.
A very interesting tactical rack.
Overhit that a little bit.
Now he was going all the way back for the side pocket. Strickland now has 6. Frost 3. Strickland reclaims a 3-game lead.
2 chili dogs and a Coke, huh?
Smoke a pack of cigarettes. That's the game of pool. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you ever tell your students at Linwood that? You know, guys, there's a difference between championship pool and the game of pool. Let me tell you what the game of pool is.
No, they definitely know it. They definitely know what the difference is. First year we had to train in a public pool room with bar tables and dirty balls and loud music and beer, and smoke.
Right.
And so, but then we got our proper billiards arena, so they all appreciate and respect what we have now versus what we had to do in a commercial setting. Nothing wrong with the place. It was a great place.
You know, I mentioned to you earlier, I watched your interview with Tor Lowry, and, when he showed the pool room there, what a beautiful pool room. Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a state-of-the-art billiards facility, no doubt about it. Lindenwood University Billiards Arena. Okay, Strickland has not had a lot of offensive opportunities from the break. He does have 1 break and run out so far. Cue ball got a loose again.
Hung the one ball, too.
Well, the story of the match so far, Billy, I would say, is that Scott has not converted the safeties as well as he should have. I think they've been a little bit too loose here in the early goings.
I think that's a good read. I think the break's a story, too, because neither one of them's really found the soft break's going to pocket more balls and give them position. And that's kind of interesting. You know, I know Chris real well, so I know who came up with this rack. And, you know, quite a few players made sure that they had a hold of these racks before they came here, so they were working on it. So I think we'll see real quickly, you know, as different players come to the table over the course of the week, you know, who's really prepared to know some of these things about how the rack works. And I do think your observation is very accurate as well. The reason they're hitting the ball harder is because they are trying to flatten that one end to the side, which is the likely candidate, you know, in that rack to pocket a ball. Looks like Scott's got a pretty good layout. He might have wanted to go a little lower there.
Going 2 cushions, or it looks like draw?
Just he'll draw a side rail, yeah. Gonna lay on the side rail if he's not careful. But 6 ball's in a good spot.
A lot of focus here. This is not an easy shot. It's a ball you definitely need to get, though, to beat Earl Strickland. At the heart of the pocket, and fell nicely on the 6. Now he'll be able to manage a good angle on the 7 to easily transfer to the 8.
Yeah, that stun follow was the right shot on the 5, too. He hit that well. Nicely done there, too. Good angle. Should be routine, right? Can you say that without jinxing them?
Up spin 2 cushions. Once it releases from the cushion, it all looks good. He handled this. Very nice rack. Ross now has 4 games on his side of the scoreboard, and Strickland 6.
You know, we joke around about, you know, the game of pool and, you know, the sport of pool, which is not really a joke when you say that. But my thought, you know, if I was in your position as a coach, I might get them up and run them a little bit even, you know? What's the problem? I mean, you know, it's fun to run. And, you know, work on them that way, athletically, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we never have any time. I'm not going to do it we only really have 1 week together, you know.
Oh, really?
Well, we don't, 1, right now, we don't even know who the team is.
Right.
And 2, there's no budget. So when we get together,
Wow,
because you
yeah.
really need money for hotels, food, blah, blah, blah. You know, so.
Oh, you're talking about the Moscone Cup.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking about Lindenwood. I'm sorry.
Linwood, yeah, absolutely. You're the coach there,
I see.
too, right?
No, they do. Yeah, we got some great athletes on the team. Okay. Yeah. In fact, actually, the coach needs to run himself here.
Now, we're exempt. We're older now. We don't have to do that, right?
I see. No, I definitely need to. I've been working hard here lately. We're putting in some long days.
Well, you got to be. I'm 59, so I know you got to be somewhere around 61's what I'm guessing, maybe.
Just turned 60.
Just turned 60?
Yep.
Okay, you're just a year older than me. It's that height that gives it away. You know, I always think of bigger guys as older. Never mind. But, yeah, it's tough when you're older, you know. Coaches don't have to run, especially in baseball. Think about it.
I think
Tommy Lasorda.
leadership. I mean, lead from the front as we look on. Scott Frost breaking here, game number 11. I heard something hit the pocket. He's not going to get a shot. It landed on the rack. Scotty. Yeah. And we'll see if he wants the rack removed or not. The 9 ball and the cue ball are on the rack. Looks like he does.
Yeah, and they got to jump, too.
Well, there's 2 balls on the spot, or on the rack. Here, just pick the 2 balls, and I'll slide it on. You know, just pick the 2 balls, I'll slide it on, push it anyway.
There we go. Easily handled. You know, the rack may have a side benefit to it, Mark. Players have to actually participate with one another.
Yeah. Scotty's thinking about pushing out to a jump. One ball's right over the pocket. I don't know. You're such an underdog here. I would tie something up. But no, he's going to just push out to a jump.
And he did tie something up as well.
I don't know that was intended, but if it was, that was a fantastic shot. Well, Earl passes it back.
As he's supposed to in this situation. I have to agree with Earl's call there.
No, I don't. I think because Scott's got such a good chance to pocket this. If he does pocket it, then he can defend himself. It'll be a much better circumstance than where he was when he pushed out. Okay.
Got an angle on the 2 to break him out, too. That ain't bad.
No, he doesn't need to break anything out. 3's down here. He just wants to get straight in on the 4, roll it forward, and just get down the 5 if he gets that far.
I mean, it's hard to tell from the monitor, but it looks pretty tight. I don't know if the 5 will go past the 7. Hard to say. Now, down there could be a big gap between the 5 and the 7.
Right, that's
bigger
true.
than what it shows on the monitor.
We'll find out by the way he goes at it, and if he gets that far. Gonna make a big shot here, though, first.
I think he'll get this. Oh, yeah. No, he didn't.
Just a little quick on his transition. Well, anytime that you push out and get yourself back to the table one time, it was an okay push out. Just so you know, if you lose from your push out, it was a terrible push out no matter what you did.
Well, I like letting him execute that jump shot as opposed to me doing it.
Look at Strickland. He showed off his stroke there. He had a warp drive. He landed heavy on the 6. He's upset because about anything else works good, and he hit a heck of a ball there again.
Well, when the greatest player in the world for super stroking misses a shot like that, what does that tell you? It tells you it was a rough shot to get to begin with, and there might be a better way to play it than super stroking, right? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
That's pretty aggressive.
He hit it pretty darn good.
He did.
You can hit that pure. Nice thin hit there.
Well, I'm not knocking Strickland. I'm just saying, you know what I mean, for the younger players that are out there and think super stroke's the answer to every problem, you know? Seldom is, you know, even with the greatest players in the world.
Tricky spot here for Scott Frost to defend himself from. Earl's put the pressure on. This is where you're going to play from with world-class talent, so you need to rehearse this. And it's a negative expectation. You're less than 50-50 succeed here, but you definitely need to work on it because you start so many innings from this position.
Cue ball 2 rails underneath the 5 and the 7?
That's super hard, but yeah, good. Yeah, Scott doesn't like it.
He's tight on that 3 ball, that's for sure the truth. And he could definitely leave the 3 exposed to the side pocket or the corner should he miss the cue ball placement. So, tough call. Side to side and just take what you get might be the way to go. Bring the cue ball over to the left-hand side of the table as we look at it, and the 3 ball over to the right-hand side of the table, and hope the 9 blocks the 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, this is kind of... You're exposed here to a lot of risk and not much reward. You can't win, but you can easily lose from this shot.
That's true. He's going with a 2 rail underneath the 5. This is the guts here, the 2 positions for safe.
Good decision.
Just so he gets there. Didn't get there. And he left it exposed for the corner.
That's sort of okay. It's not great, and he may lose from here, but just don't miss the entire 3 ball trying to be too cute. No, I'm just saying.
I agree. I was laughing because that is obvious, and it is something that's easy to do, even though it looks simple, it's not.
He did a good job there. He made sure he hit it. Could have possibly came out of it. Didn't, but now he's left it tough.
This shot's 3 rails with the cue ball. If you're going to shoot this, back cut the 3 into the lower left-hand corner pocket and go 3 rails with the cue to come up on the 4. And dying off the 3rd rail, by the way.
Now, the shot clock was winding down at 13, and then Earl calls his extension, and it went right to the 40, so...
He went 1 rail. I don't believe it.
What a good shot that was.
That was a great shot. And look at the speed, how great the speed was. Now we'll see if your call originally was good on the 5, because he's going to float forward here for sure. So it must pocket up there in the corner.
Yeah, he didn't belabor it at all.
Not a bit. And rolled right up to where he needs to be. I'll hit this with a little stone, I imagine, and just come out for the 6. No, he drew it. Oh, boy. What a nice shot that was. Might as well do it again, Earl. Get on the 7.
Cue ball's free of the cushion. Earl can get his bridge hand down. He can go high, low, or center, whatever he wants to do.
Earl's in dead punch. I mean, right now it looks good.
Nicely hit ball. This would be Earl's 7th win in the match. And draw. Takes the scratch out of play, and Strickland 7. Scott Frost 4.
You know, that little safety choice that we were talking about in the middle of the rack there, going underneath the 5 with the cue ball, or sending the cue ball over to the other side rail and splitting it with the 9, hopefully, the 3 and the 9 in between them, right? The 3 and the 9 in between them is the better percentage shot there, really. You know what I mean? Easier to execute with a frozen ball. And, you know, Scott went for the thing that would have been tougher to respond to if he got there. Definitely would have been tougher to respond to. But high price going in for getting that type of advantage out of that turnaround.
Yep.
That's something that's difficult to convey to a young guy, too. You know, one safe is favored over another because they think safety's a safety. Now, Scott not, of course. You know, Scott obviously knows the difference, you know, better than me. But that was an interesting little example of that in play.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to let Earl have a routine access to the object ball. He was trying to really put the squeeze on him there.
My break's gonna beat me.
That's one shot selection that really couldn't fault either way he goes. And Strickland had to make a heck of a run out to get out there. He cruised through it effortlessly, but that was not an easy run out.
Well, you hit those balls as well as you could hit them at that speed, and look at what the result you get is.
Yeah, this is not classic Earl Strickland break and run out 9 ball that we're so familiar with. This racking pattern and ball placement has definitely changed the dynamics here in the early stages of the tournament as far as balls going out on the break. Actually, Frost has been the more productive breaker, I think.
And Scott has an excellent layout pattern now. 6 to the 7, toughest thing on the table. But all those balls in the middle will be gone by the time he gets there, so pretty easy access for a world-class player once that 5 ball's gone. And it looks like he's going to be straight in on the 5, so not a problem there. He can get exactly the angle he wants here. A little high is better than a little low, obviously. On the ball line. The only thing he doesn't want to do is draw into the side pocket. Bring it right back where it is would be great.
Work the cue ball a little closer. This will be 2 or 3 cushions in.
I think this will be 2 Z-stroke. Nicely done.
Shot.
Got a little straight though, didn't he?
Yeah, he just eased up onto the 3rd cushion. And now he's going to have to play from a long ways. It looks like he may go rail first here.
I like real first, yeah.
A little over a diamond away. You got to hit pretty good. No problem. Cruised it on out there. Good job. Frost. Made it look routine.
Yeah, that rail first was side spin going into the end rail, side rail. What a world saver that is. I mean, you saw a great example of him getting out of a tough, tough spot with that. I remember the first guy I saw shoot that shot, Jay Swanson. And Swanee hit it beautifully, and I was like, how did he do that? You know, I was asking the guy I was with, he said, oh, he shot it real first.
Well, Scott Frost collects a nice run out there. Trails in the match 5-7. Thus far, we've only had one break and run out. This is just a little under world-class pool. Normally would have 3 or 4 by this time of the match. Frost improved his TPA up to 820 now. Strickland at 868. He's inching forward as well.
You know, I think Scott is more likely to find the break speed than Earl is. So let's see what Scott does on this break. Scott could figure out real quick that a little less mustard on the ball and just float over to the side rail and back out with a cut break, and he'll have the balls open and be pocketing a ball.
I don't like it either.
And I don't think Earl will catch that first. I really don't. He's determined to break the balls hard and has been for a long time. I'd like to see Co break. That's the other thing. You know, you were talking earlier about him playing Karen Core. That's the one thing I want to see, because I'll bet you those guys catch on real quick to what works with the rack.
What's the actual name of the rack? You know?
Accu-Rack.
The Accu-Rack.
And it's got like a sandpaper surface on it, very, very fine grit, you know. And the thing about it is the balls don't slide across the rack. They actually turn like they would on cloth. So that lets the naturalness of the balls being frozen together work. That's a big difference, you know, from the other, you know, Magic Rack. And, you know, I think this is a really, really good thing. Not just because Chris is a friend of mine, by the way. It got nothing to do with it. You know, we had this conversation with Ralph Souquet about 4 years ago, and we talked about it going home in the car. And Chris came up with this, and the ball placement, you know, the actual slots in the rack itself, all you have to do is just touch them and push them forward, and they freeze, and they're all frozen. And it'll do it with even smaller and older balls. So on worn-out cloth, this works as well. And
that was kind of a delicate long-range safety play. I think Scott...
He got hooked a little bit, I think.
Did he? He looked like he was disappointed there. Yeah, he looked... His facial expression suggested that he didn't hook him.
I mean, it's tough to see from here, but he might be able to see around the edge of the nine.
Yeah, I think it goes straight in.
He's shooting a little bit inside, maybe just to hold it. Yeah, that got there. And he got low enough on the ball line that he's going to be able to get back on the floor, too.
Earl's powerful ball pocketer.
Right up for the 7 beautifully. Nicely done there. Earl likes to go 2 rails. This is a 1 railer.
Yeah, very nice. Nice out cruise through there pretty easily. Scott made a ball on the break, but he was the underdog in the rack. Tried to play safe. Just barely failed doing that. Lost a little ground there. Trails in the match 8-5.
But, you know, as you mentioned earlier, you know, from even awkward positions, Strickland, when he's in stroke, makes awkward positions look easy. Mm-hmm. It's a joy to watch him play. And it's always been that way. You know, he's never been one to walk around the table for an hour, you know, looking at something, you know, whatever it takes.
There, the Accu-Track, you kind of see how Strickland put a flurry on there in the middle. The trading games here lately.
Yeah, that 3-game lead came from racks 5 to 8.
Here we go. Rack number 14, just about underway. Strickland has been dry on most all of his breaks. Cue ball got hot.
May scratch.
Well, didn't scratch, but he didn't leave anything easy either.
Accu-Stats scratch.
Earl hates it when he doesn't generate offense from his break. That was a big component of his long run at the Hall of Fame, the break and run out.
Yeah, in the 80s, that break on heavy cloth worked real well. You know, once you get to Simonis, things are a little different.
Well, I mean, he had a long run on Simonis. I wouldn't say that. You know, he broke and ran 10 wrecks for $1 million one time.
Well, no, I'm not saying that as much as I'm saying that, you know, the break that works on Simonis is different than the break that works on, you know, carpet, what I call carpet. You know, thick old 80-20 Malley, basically, you know?
Mm-hmm. Scott playing safe here. Yeah, double kissed it. That's not strong enough with the likes of Earl Strickland because Earl can retaliate. He's pretty close to the object ball. Earl will be accurate to this.
I mean, one thing to add to that, very nicely done there. That hits a 9. Ooh. That would have been nice if it had bumped the 9 a little bit.
Well, I think this is good. It took away the side rail. This is actually better where it's at. Scott's going to have to do something here. He may have to consider taking a foul.
I think he can go to the left-hand rail, too. Even though he's coming near that 4, he still wants to go in that direction. I like that kick. Probably didn't even look at that.
Yeah, he took a foul. He didn't get quite as much accomplished with the foul as he wanted, but Earl's not a problem at all. He just looked to play another killer safety, tie the 1 up with the 5.
Come in between the 6 and the side pocket with the cue ball. Just drop down underneath the 9, I think. I like going all the way to the end rail. Didn't quite do it, you know?
Oh, he's got Scott in another bad spot. He's got that 9 in the way for the side cushion. Scott's on 1 foul already. They do play the 3 foul rule, 3 consecutive fouls by the same player, lost a game. Scott's not going to be able to be cute here for much longer.
Well, he can go to the side rail with spin. I mean, the long side rail on the right-hand side of the table.
By the 8 with Massey.
Yeah,
you'd have
just
to
a little bit of
Massey.
side spin.
You'd have to Massey to arc it open enough to hit the 1. Can't go hard
There it is.
speed.
Ooh, just
Bad
missed
hit.
it.
Yeah. So Scott's now on 2 fouls. Should later in the rack Earl get in trouble. Something to be mindful of. Wide open run out here.
Nicely done there. I got a little straight, though. Draw back, but I still... There it is. Just takes a tougher shot on the 3. Well, I'm telling you, I don't like this shot. The one thing bugs me is that side pocket. You know, whether you want to hold this with a little inside or whether you just want to roll it and use speed to do it. But he held it and came underneath of it. Must be able to shoot it in the side.
Nice decision, good execution.
Good speed there. Nicely done there as well. Boy, that was a real touchy shot right there.
Kind of mishit that, Billy. Something clunked, I don't know.
He did it on a draw. That's weird.
I think Earl raised his tip at the last second. I think he's trying to indicate that it was the table. No, he's got to be a shot maker here.
Can just roll this in, though. Doesn't have to hit it super hard, just easy. Make it.
Hit it pure. Classic Earl Strickland. Huh? Landed just about as awkward on the 9 as you could have. He's smiling. He realizes anything but this. Close and off angle, even if it's off angle or it's just not close, he can deal with it. But this makes it triple treacherous. Now he's going to have to bank it. He'll bank it cross corner, try to get a little safety aspect to it if he doesn't hang it. Or maybe he's cutting it. Maybe he does cut. Cue ball's going to be hot as could be. Now he's going cross side. Yeah, pretty nice.
That was a shot.
Reined it in there. Soft speed bank. Crowd smiles and applauds. Strickland moves out to a 9-5 lead. Preparing to rack. Makes a little speech. Earl's in good form.
Yeah, and that. Yeah, Earl's moved his TPA up a little bit there too. He's almost at 900 at 899 here.
Yeah, Earl's played good offense throughout.
You know, that was absolutely 50-yard line on that 9 ball too when he bumped that. Couldn't cut it in either the side or the corner.
Yeah.
Had to shoot that bank and didn't want to. Wanted to cut it, you know. He indicated that when he set up on the ball, but you made the right call, man. That was a bank all the way.
That's why when I shot the 2, remember when I shot the 2 and I wanted to whip, this cue ball ain't got no whip in it. Don't worry. It's like a bowling ball.
Well, he's moved it up to a 4-game lead, so that's going to get a little tougher to fade at this stage of the match, Mark. 9-5 is kind of a long distance run now for Scott. Made the one on the side. Cue ball's open. Cut some speed off that break too, didn't he?
Yeah, he got the one on the side, and then the 2 came across and kicked the 9, and now he's left with a kind of a weird combination. I don't think he can play offense.
Looks pretty good though. It's off angle, but that looks pretty good. It's pretty straight.
Awfully far apart though, from that range. I think this is smarter. He's thinking about banking the 2 right to the opposite end of the table in the center and let the cue ball drift underneath the 4, or just come across. Just leave him long at the very least. Boy, that's well played. Very good.
Tucked it over there too nice.
Very good.
That is tough. The 3 balls got him pretty good. A little bit, I think. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think he's
just the 7.
Yeah, I think just the 7's plenty if he can't get directly at this. And it's so awkward from, even if he could just nick the edge, he might be better suited to kick at it anyway.
Yeah, but you can hop over the 7 maybe. That's what I'm thinking, and go straight at it.
He measured up to Mass A, but you're never getting separation, so I think he's better off to go ahead and kick this than kick to make it. You can get the second cushion first. Cue ball will come down table. Then you got ball first. Ball came down the table. Earl's going to be rewarded for a nice defensive play.
Once again, though, what you were talking about earlier, Scott's execution of those return safeties has been really a little weak. And here's another example of that. Earl's in a tough spot here. He's on the end of the rail.
Earl missed everything there. He's a funny guy. He plays so much pool, literally. To play like this, you have to play 10 hours a day. I'm not exaggerating. And you can't have, it's not in the past play 10 hours a day. I'm talking about to do what he's doing here in this match. You have to play 10 hours a day today. Every day, you know. That's how you get in this form.
Yeah, what I was going to say was, you know, he's got a little bit of overdue stuff from the past, because I do believe when Earl was playing, I never went into a pool room, didn't see Earl hitting balls in the middle of a tournament. You know what I mean? From start to finish. So, you know, he probably logged some 18-hour days overtime there.
Good decision there. If he gets past the
Gotta
side.
get past the
Not
side.
in the
The
side.
only thing that happened was that.
Well,
Well, Scott's got an opportunity now.
right. And, that was irresponsible of Earl. It wasn't an easy shot, but nevertheless, if you're going to play safe, you definitely can't dunk it into the first pocket you get to. And, you know, a 9-5 lead with this skill set is not insurmountable at all.
Not insurmountable, but it is difficult if you're not pocketing balls on the break. That's the thing that makes it tough.
Yeah, you don't want to have to gunfight every rack. One or two rolls really is all that separates it. Bad players, it's a much larger lead. With great players, it's not much of a lead.
Well, Scott sure made that rack easy because he got great position there to shoot that ball in the corner, leaving him on the 6 like this. So, you know what? Scott's not executing bad. I kind of agree with your call a couple racks back that, you know, it's his return safety play that's costing him here. It's not, you know, in his execution, you know, once he's at the table. On balls pocketed, I mean.
But I didn't really think it was not his return safety. I didn't think it was just his safety play, period, which should be his forte. Now he's falling very straight, so you have to pound this 8 ball in. Jump the cue ball across. Oh, he's going to roll it forward and play short side. Good decision. Yeah, Scott's really failed on a couple of the more routine safeties, particularly for him. It should be his forte. His offense has been a little better than we're used to seeing.
Well, you know, not to take anything away from that, Earl's executing those safeties really into tough positions.
And Earl has definitely stayed in line once he got the opening. He's really captured these racks quite often. This last rack was more the exception than what it's been. He's moved through a couple of tough racks there and made him look easy. Nevertheless, Strickland 9, Scott Frost 6. Strickland's TPA drops down to 877, and that's because he failed on the safety. Otherwise, he moves over 900, you know, so.
Well, that scratch in the side was a big loss there. That was completely an unforced error, no doubt. And, you know, you can't do that with anybody on this level. Certainly not with the field we've got assembled this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had a friend of mine call me the other day, and he's in his 50s, early 50s, and he was complaining that, you know, it was tough to win a tournament anymore, you know? And I was like, well, you know, what other sport do you play at in your 50s you can play at the top of the world? I mean, name one. And, you know, it's hard to do. If you try to think of 50s with any sport,
that's true.
It doesn't exist. Earl is doing kind of a miraculous thing in a way. Not really miraculous, but you know what I mean?
Yep. Scott Frost set the break. 6 is the wing ball.
And he pounded it and scratched.
Oh, that's not what he wanted to do at all.
And the balls are fairly open as well.
Yeah, that could be his undoing there. You know what you're saying, though, Billy, is that about older age, but pool you peak much later because it's such an intricate and requires so much experience. It doesn't require that you jump high and run faster, you know, so some of the skills are hard earned and takes a lot more time.
You know, certainly that's, and I don't disagree with that, but I will add this. Certainly, with the knowledge that's come out and the way people are learning to play, the younger players are getting so much tougher by the time they're 20 because they don't have to, you know, scrape and claw for every bit of knowledge they can get the way I know you and I did. You know, it wasn't common knowledge to get, you know, instruction in a pool room from the top players. You know, that was like taking money out of their pockets in the old days, you know. And
yeah, right.
Not to mention Accu-Stats, but, you know, several people like your friend Tor Lowry are out there, you know, teaching how to move the ball properly, what angles they're all about, and a lot of stuff that helps young players get smart a lot quicker if they want to learn.
Which means when they're 50, if they can stay fit, the standards will be even higher than they are today because every year it gets pushed forward.
And I understand the thinking, but what I think will happen is if there are younger players playing pool, which there certainly are in China, they're going to be so much further advanced than we were that it will come into the age factor even more where the older players won't be competing as well. That's my guess. You know, especially watching the younger players in the East.
Strickland threaded right past the 7, just certainly didn't want to bump it. Left it there, perfect angle. Rolling forward.
Made that rack look simple as pie, didn't he?
Well, scratching the break is really going to be painful here. Strickland makes him pay for it. Chops through the rack, collects his 10th win, leads the match 10 games to 6. Scott Frost must now win 5 consecutive games.
Yeah, I'd say this is a distance that's going to be tough to overcome for Scott. 5 games at the end of the rack like this, Earl's sitting on the hill.
A lot of momentum. Yeah, Strickland pocketing balls very freely, looking good.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see if Earl keeps in stride and breaks those balls the same way. I don't think there's any prayer he won't, but be a good time to experiment with a softer break.
8 balls, the wing ball, trying to make the 1 on the side. Made the 1 on the side with the cut break. Kissed off the back of the 9. I think he's going to scratch here, Billy. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's the deal with the cut break. The cue ball runs hot across the table, and then this time it glanced off the 9 ball and went in.
Well, the other thing to add there is the speed of the break, because that's one thing you certainly can control.
Made the 9 and the 2.
And Scott's looking at
Or 1 on the 2, I'm sorry.
Scott's looking at a pretty routine run out here. 4 to the 5's the only difficulty, and look at what he's got to get there. Pretty simple stuff from here. So he should knock that lead back at least a game here. Nicely executed stroke there.
Inside spin, got down there pretty nice. Cue ball close to the 5, so it's easy to manufacture the right angles for the remainder of the rack.
I like getting straight in on the 6 on the side here. Straight in on the 7s, hit and stop, hit and stop. Pretty much there, too. Gonna come up above it and draw over there to shoot the 8 in the corner. You know, that's something else I've noticed over the years as I've gotten older. Much easier to stun the ball into position than it is to use, you know, any amount of controllable spin to get there.
Frost looking very confident, solidly moves through an open layout. Picks up his 7th win, trails in the match. 7 games to 10.
What, do you think we're going to see a flurry from Scott Frost? Now's the time, right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's warmed up, he's loose, he's got to press on, so.
And Danny's favorite line, toughest 2 strokes to beat, dump stroke and give up stroke. You know, so Scott's at that place at the end of the match where he's, you know, got nothing to lose. His back's against the wall, so might as well fire.
And Scott's chosen to take a quick break. Preparing the rack.
That's never what a turn.
Strickland leads the match, 10 games, 7.
My break.
What an enjoyable match this is. I'm really enjoying watching the execution here. These guys are playing.
Beautiful setting here at the new Sheraton Waterside Hotel.
The reason I took a break.
It is gorgeous down here, man. If you got a nice room on the upper floor, too, you're looking right out over the river, looking at that Navy vessel being constructed over there in the dry dock. It's cool.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah, Barry outdid himself this year. He picked the right spot. Not that any
Yeah,
of the others weren't great. They were all great, but this is really nice.
the high ceilings here compared to last year, we used to bump our head trying to climb up the bleachers on the ceiling, remember? It's dangerous, so. Well, this is much nicer, much more comfortable.
You probably notice that everywhere you go, Mark.
No, not quite like that. Last year was players were literally with bruises on their head. No, really. All right, here we go.
Right.
Scott Frost. Get ready to get game 18 underway. Race to 11. Strickland needs 1. Frost needs 4. Cut break, 1 in the side. Good control with cue ball this time.
How about the speed of that break?
That was nice. It's going to have to push out. Not what he was hoping for.
Push.
Yeah, I think you go to the end rail with this. Just put the cue ball right down there by the first diamond. Let him play the safety and try to execute, because it's not easy to, get that from that length. And if you've got to shoot it, you do have a shot. So that's not a bad place to be. Right down there on the first diamond by the upper right-hand corner pocket. And put it right against the rubber. Don't even come off the rubber. There we go.
I think Earl's just going to pass it back without really examining, because he sees what a distasteful predicament and iffy situation it is. It plays much easier when you're forced to play it rather than you have the choice to shoot at it.
I want to stop on the 7 here. I want to shoot the cue ball into the rail and then into the 7. Hit it full in the face. Boy, he didn't. He just left it right there. I don't know about that. You can knock the cue ball down table, 2 ball down table, and send the cue ball over into the 9 and stop right there, behind the 5. That'll all work with follow.
Yeah. If you back cut the 2, you might clip the 6 with the cue ball, which would slow it down enough that you could get a shot on the 3. The other choice, you could go after the 9 here. You felt aggressive.
Well, I don't know that you want to make that. I'm just saying you can stop it there, and that's a good place for the cue ball to end up.
You're right.
You back cut it.
Boy, what a good shot that was.
Whew, what a good shot that was is right.
Earl Strickland.
Wow.
Been watching this for about 40 years with him. Great shot making.
Now the rack's in line if he stops a little bit. Still he can get there. 2 rails, no big deal, Earl.
No, after the first 2 shots, anything's doable.
Yeah, that 2-ball shot was really something. There we go, it's okay. You're below it, shoot it in the corner. Now he's over top the 9, you don't like that.
He's looking at sliding the cue ball across because he's jacked up, wants to use a little pace, doesn't want to try to be real cute and dig down, hold it. Oh, he's able to cut it in the side. Okay.
Needs to get lower, 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 lower. Okay. He might still be a little straight even. His angle's just a little bit off because he needs to get all the way up there. He'll super stroke this. He ain't going 2 rails. You're going to run into the 9, dude.
He's got some trouble here. The 8 and the 9 are both in the way.
Super stroked and got underneath the 9.
Boy, nice shot there.
Still a little high, though.
Didn't slide as much as I thought the brand new cloth would. Now he's super thin on the 7. This is interesting.
He's got to curb some speed here, too. So he's got to hit this with a little bit of spin just to take speed off the cue ball.
No, I don't even know if he can. Yeah, this is interesting. See what he's doing here.
Playing safe. How about that?
That gives you an idea of how distasteful that was. A shooter of the magnitude of Earl Strickland opting to play defense there.
I didn't like going 2 rails forward. I like drawing it back and super stroking it and spinning it. That's one aspect of where it would have worked real well. How about this return here?
Awesome shot there by Scott Frost. Now what's up now, Earl? The bank at this? You can play the bank and the billiard on the 8? I don't know. No? Safe.
stopping the ball on it, but he's going to come up and leave him a shot. Tough shot, though. Here's where Scotty's one-pocket experience comes in.
Yeah, he might bank at this just because he can get a backdoor safety and he can win with it.
And you can bank with low. You can shoot this ball with low. So if you hit the bank a little wide, the 7's going to come out in the middle of the table. Cue ball is going to be down on the end rail where you'd have a shot on the 8. And you just don't want to miss it on the long rail.
He's cutting it. Oh, he's playing
Play it
safe back.
Again, same thing.
Oh,
Look at the
nice
speed
shot
on this.
Yeah, very good, Scott.
Ready to shoot. Not much fun.
Earl's making the speech because Scott's got him in a bad spot here. Hard to play safe, and it's hard to play offense.
If he plays offense, he'll get a shot, but he's got to make the 7. That's the bad news.
Well, Scott's going to get the best of this exchange.
Yes, sir.
Scott earned it. A couple of good, long defensive shots.
With great speed, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Scott really did well on the speed of those shots.
Got to deal with the 9 ball here. This pocket plays narrow if you have to pop it in there because it cuts about a third of the opening off the effective margin of error.
What about just slow rolling it? Kill the ball, slow roll into the 7, and just bump the 9, and you should be fine. Go up and down the table. You bumped the 9 anyway.
Scott did good. The 9 got funny. I think he'll still make it. Combination on the 9 here.
I like shooting the 8 into the rail on this combination right here, believe it or not. Tag it pretty good, shoot it into the rail, and you should make the 9. Just like that.
Good shot there. 10-8 now is our score as Frost captures this game with a couple good defensive plays, some good one-pocket tactics. Left Earl long 3 times. Earl successfully defended himself twice. The third time, not so much.
And Scott's creeping away at that, just one game at a time. Just pull that bead over to my side of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, Frost now needs to win 3 in a row. Well, this is the absolute epicenter of world-class pool for this week.
For the world.
For the world. That's
Yeah,
what I said.
absolutely.
Yeah, they're all here. Any player that's playing well is here.
You know, when you tell somebody, I was in the bar last night having a little Budweiser before I went to bed, and I was talking to a guy who was a pilot, and he asked me what I was doing here, and I said, well, the best ball movers on the planet are here, and I get to watch some great pool all week long.
Mm-hmm.
The fan in me comes out real easy, you know?
Yeah, I love watching world-class pool.
Nothing better. There might be something better. I just don't know what it is.
Like the way Scott's locked in here, eye-wise, focus-wise. He wants to make that one on the side. Well, the wing ball went in this time. The one ball didn't. And Scott's going to get a shot.
Notice the break speed again. Softer break speed, getting results. And that's a real good play right there. He made the wing ball, and the one ball went up above it and left him with a position. So now he's got something to work with to get on the 2. This is a very workable rack, although the 1 to the 2 is the difficult shot in this rack, I believe. You know, 7 to the 8 when all those balls are gone, except for the 9, will be easy to get around. And the 6 to the 7 falls pretty nicely, except for the 9. So the 1 to 2's it. Get on the 2 ball here and you're out.
I think he hit it pretty well, too.
Sure did.
You go away from the cushion. That was a good shot.
Oddly enough, you know, where he wants to be on the 3 will be the next thing. I think he can follow this and come up for the 3 pretty nicely. But he'd like to have a good angle to get from the 3 to the 5. He's going to draw. Must have a little bit more of a flatter angle. He's going all the way side pocket. Wow. That was pretty gutsy.
Yeah, very well executed. This is where that we find out how much you've been training here in terms of being able to sustain your focus through a long tactical or a long progression of balls that requires each one a lot of attention and focus. And if you're not in shape, you just can't withstand the mental intensity of this. Last year, the last day of this event, there were 60 players out here. Every one of them was fit as could be, athletic.
Scotty's got a nice angle come across for the 6. Just wants to be where he's going to be able to tag the 6 and drop down, I believe, below the 9. Grab the rail here a little bit.
Struck that one pure.
This takes a little bit of engineering. You don't want to go too low, and you got to get low enough that the 9's not in the way. So you need to pick a spot on that table where you want to be.
I think he's going to come out to the center of the table. That's the more conservative. Yeah.
He may.
Well, no, he's going to draw. You were right, Billy. Nope, center of the table.
And this is the problem with center of the table. Back cutting the 7 if you overhit it. Drawing, you just got to get by the side pocket with a little spin, but you need to be exactly precise where you want to be. One critical shot in a rack like that, Mark, you know how it is. I mean, you miss it this much, you're faced with something that's a little, iffy at best. It's a tough cut. Lucky he's not lucky he's left-handed, actually.
And spin it in with extreme right.
Yep.
Hit it good. Hit it a little thin. That's why the cue ball's hot.
Earl's over there looking for his yes man on the bleachers. He don't have one. He'll be sweating this too. This is down to 1 game lead if Scott makes this. Well, he's got to make the 9 too, but if he makes this, he'll have shape on the 9. Get a good bounce. Not perfect. That's good enough. Now, I'll tell you what, you could have taken all my money this week right here in this first match, Mark, because I never would have believed it would get to this 9 games for Scott.
Okay, Scott Frost picked a good time for his first break and run out of the match. Brings the score to 9 games Frost, 10 games Strickland. They're going to 11. That was a very, very difficult run out. The pattern of balls and sequence. A couple of them, the cue ball got a little out of line for Scott, so he had to be a shot maker. He stayed composed, stayed in the program here, got through that rack.
I think the big issue there was the break again. Nice break speed, good ball layout. Let's see, I'm positive we're going to see the same thing again. He has to know he landed on the ghost sticker there, so to speak.
The total ball count is tied now at 78 apiece. Scott's made 15 errors, Strickland 12 errors. Scott's a little on the short end of the stick as far as the errors go, the distance between them, which accounts for the difference in the TPAs.
And the distance between them is 1 game now, so... From being on the hill to Scotty being much in this at the head of the table.
Scott now goes to the other side of the table.
Speed's a big issue here.
5 is the wing ball. Trying to make the 1 in the side. 1 in the side. Cue ball in the side as well. That hurts. He was on a pretty good run there. Strickland points out quickly that the 4 and 5 are knotted up together, but he has ball in hand on the 2 and the 3 to possibly do something effective. You need to get that cue ball over there where he can play the 4 on the side. Looks like he's got a stop shot to get there.
That's pretty much what's demanded to the 4 on the side, because the balls aren't going any other way.
That's just a stop shot. He's got the perfect angle. This is probably the biggest part of the rack as Earl gets the proper position here on the 4.
This is all speed. Very nicely done on both ends, pocketing the ball and the speed of the 4.
Now he's going to have to bump the 5 forward. This is going to require a little something. Had he come down the table another 6 inches, it could have played it easily.
You can use a little bit of right-hand spin here, Mark. And he didn't want to. He just wanted to come off of it and shoot it in the corner.
Like he may have to deal with the 9 a little bit here.
Bump the 9 a little bit.
Looking at what if he just follows forward.
Or draw all the way to the end rail. Does he have the ink? No, he doesn't really. Not quite thick enough.
No, he might. I don't know.
You can draw all the way to the end rail.
He's going to go high right? No, just high. Play the 6 on the side, be a shot maker. Not risking possibly missing something by spinning the cue ball, but just roll it.
Well, speed's the issue here.
Oh, he hit it great. Good decision, Earl Strickland, and he's executing freely. 3 balls away from winning this match. Able to get the cue ball work down close to the 8. Gave him a look like, how come you didn't fall in perfect line? But I think we'll draw 1 rail across the table here. Here it comes. Perfect position to capture the opening match here. And Earl Strickland plays a pretty good match there to open up the ledger here at the U.S. Open. And this has been another Accu-Stat video production. Any republication or rebroadcast without Accu-Stats express consent is prohibited. On behalf of Billy Gibbs and myself, so long for just a while.
Introducing Lucasi Hybrid, a whole new level of performance and technology. A cue with the revolutionary X-Shocks dampening system, eliminating vibration. G5 grip technology for enhanced traction and stability results in maximum cue control. Total sweet spot construction means unmatched power. And the Zero Flex Point ferrule provides dead-on accuracy, giving you the confidence you need in every shot. Lucasi Hybrid, the only cue that matters.